You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Vince.
I'm James.
And this is your Geek Fix.
So this last week, although there's a lot of controversy right at the moment about this, as far as the exact date, but one of the things that was this last week, Vince, as far as anniversaries. Technically. So technically, it's a Back to the Future, kind of a big Back to the Future day last week.
It's like the date that they return to the present, right?
Right. Well, so that's the thing, is there's two sets of dates that are out there.
Yeah.
But everybody seems to celebrate it on the wrong date. I mean, it's not the date that he actually went back, the very first date that he went back, which is in October, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still, regardless, it's kind of like the Back to the Future related dates, and with this being
in
Halloween
a few days,
stuff.
I can go there and change the date on the display if you like.
There you go. That's right. which we're gonna be talking about that in detail in another episode. But you guys are gonna be seeing the actual one of the consoles. I don't know which filmed console that was. I think some of their stuff is Back to the Future 2, right? The prop store has,
because they have the hoverboard and everything.
Yeah. I think it might be 2. But either way, and please get some detailed pictures of that because I've got a project or two that I'm trying to do that would be really, really helpful with.
There used to be a USB hub like that made.
You can still get it. It's mostly stickers though that are made to look like the metal, like the corrugated metal.
Yeah, that sucks.
But it's kind of cool. It lights up all 3 levels and stuff.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people seem to have them displayed with their models and stuff.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Back to the Future video I did fairly recently related to the fan home Back to the Future model.
Yeah,
and of course. It's the only one that I've had problems with, actually, of the fan home things that came out recently. So YouTube suppressed it. You can easily find out now, by the way, if they suppress a video, you can find out if they suppress your video or if they've what do they call it? Where they
excluded it from countries.
Yeah, or they'll throttle it. Is the other term. And so, the first release of it got throttled. So I deleted it because that's what they tell you to do. When you contact their support, they don't just fix it. They say, well, you can always delete it and re-upload it. So that's what I did. Deleted it, re-uploaded it. It's the same thing happening. So I think it's like maybe 300 views on that. Whereas my newest fan home video, which is the Millennium Falcon, now has about 75,000 views. So. Okay. I don't understand, but still. But
they don't give a reason why it gets throttled then. Is it copyright?
They kind of do, actually. So these days, it's hard because, doing things like this where I'm collaborating, they want you to put a link in your description. Well, now links in comments or descriptions are actually things that can get you throttled or suppressed because they want to make sure that you're not spamming people and stuff like that. I mean, there's some good reasons behind it. But the downside is because it's being done automatically, things happen. But originally, for that video, I didn't put in the end, they actually had me cut out a couple things. And one of the things that I did was I went out to one of our nearby cornfields and used some special effects to make it look as if, you remember at the end of Back to the Future 2, that there's a scene where the DeLorean is flying above Marty, Doc's in it. They've got the flags, right, that are caught, that are hanging down. He's at the sign for what's the name of I think I asked you this before too. What's the name of the location where the house is? It's
Lions Estate.
That's it. Lions Estate. Yeah. And so you stand at the bottom of the sign. So I went out and filmed some stuff, and had my daughter and my son to assist me, so that we could fake basically that scene with the postman. Only instead of him bringing me a letter, he brought me a fan home box, and then having and it happened to also be storming and stuff and raining, so it was perfect timing. We filmed it at golden hour. So if you're going to do nighttime filming, it's best to do it at golden hour, which is, the time where the sun's gone down, but it's still light outside, or the sun's about to come up and it's light outside. So there's no shadows and things. And then you just turn down the tint and add a little bit of a blue tint, and it makes it look really cool. But at the same time, I mean, I love Back to the Future and the fact that came out recently, but we were starting to talk a little bit before we came online about Leia, who you're going to be meeting. Not Leia from Star Wars. We're talking about.
But it's going to be a bit beyond my Ghostbusters cosplay to contact old Leia.
Yeah. She'll talk to you about your I know that she'll talk to you about your underwear. That's something she'll commonly comment on and things like that as a kind of a fan thing. She'll make a comment and stuff because Marty McFly.
Where's Calvin Klein?
Yeah, where's Calvin Klein? She has some kind of famous one-liners and things. I was thinking about this yesterday, though. Was she in? People are going to think I'm stupid for thinking this, but honestly, until yesterday, I was driving back and I was thinking about the 3 films and about this conversation, and I was like, wait a minute, is she in the 3rd movie?
I knew that the girlfriend got replaced, right?
Well, they switched the girlfriends in 2, and she was in 3. But Mom was in 2, right? She playing herself as an old woman as well as her current age. But when they went back in time, Marty's great.
Yeah, she's there as Maggie McFly and Lorraine McFly.
Oh, she was? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I couldn't remember. I remember, because he plays his own grandfather, right? Or great-great-grandfather, or whatever he is supposed to be. Yeah. Stuff, so, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which is funny. But it's the same thing with Data in Star Trek. Like, every song, grandfather, father, grandparent clone, it's
always
the guy
him.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's funny. I mean, it is a nice trope that you can have, and also makes sense for younger children to understand. Oh, that's his granddad because they look the same.
Yeah.
And also, it's always surprised me that he actually played virtually his whole family in Back to the Future 2. Marty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this was at a time. I watched. I think Quarter Crew talked about it recently. The fact that it's so hard these days to think about special effects that seemed like they weren't that long ago, even though that was quite a long time ago now. It makes me feel old because I was actually an adult by the time that 3rd movie. But at the same time, those effects, it wasn't like we can do it so easily today. True, they already had the dollies that could be automated. And so you could actually program it to run the exact same camera shot more than once and then film the same person playing different roles and stuff. But on the flip side, there were several things in there that were atypical. The other thing that was a special effect had to do with his dad. Do you know what that is?
No. Well, he was flying one day with the...
This is a big controversy.
Oh, man? Yeah? I don't know.
Yeah. Because his dad, of course, in 2 wasn't played by the same actor.
But was Crispin
Glover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But was he upside down or something?
You can go online and watch him. He's such a weird guy. I mean, he is a truly bizarre person. Or
at least he acts like one. Yeah.
He's definitely, very eccentric and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's very, he has very strong opinions. It was that led to him not being in part 2.
Oh, okay.
And then the reason why he was so upset was because for one, they did a death mask of him, which is what death masks are used to be used in the old days to be able to kind of keep a record of what you looked like in life beforehand. But now, we use those also to make prosthetics for movies. Yeah. And so, they'll do the mask cast. And then, and then they'll, build up things out of this. How we make, the masks that they'll put onto them are different makeup jobs. And so they used the mask that they had from 1 to basically create a fake face for another actor to have for 2. So he is not in 2. The guy that's hanging upside down and things like that, that is actually another actor. And then they also did some comped shots from 1. And so Crispin Glover got really upset about this, made a big deal about it. And it's actually because of that and lawsuits that resulted from it that some laws were changed in relation to what movies can use as far as somebody's image goes.
Fair enough. So, I mean, if they're going to use his likeness, then he should be compensated at least, or at least get credit.
Well, this was
the same thing with all the AI discussion that we have now, right? So,
I remember there was some commercial, one of the very first things I think that came out that had to do with using special effects to basically steal previous filmed stuff. I think it was Sinatra or somebody that they had. They took one of their films and then they superimposed a vacuum cleaner, as I remember it was. And it was a vacuum commercial. And and had them dancing around with this vacuum cleaner. Well, of course, a person's dead. They didn't consent, or maybe they don't even like vacuums. I don't know. But you know,
maybe their parents,
maybe their family didn't even have
it.
And so you know, it was technically they only paid the studio rights. They didn't pay for his his image, and so that I remember that was around the same era that this all happened, and so like you said, I mean, now with all the changes and all the new advances, this is an even bigger thing. But kind of an interesting aspect about part 2.
But Leah Thompson, I'll be meeting this weekend or next weekend. I mean, or at least that'll
be a big week for you, man.
It's going to be a tiresome week. So November 4th, for the record, I'll be in Brussels, and I'll be meeting MacGyver. So Richard Dean Anderson.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
he's not just MacGyver though either. I mean, he's
Colonel Jack O'Neill.
Yeah,
or General or Admiral, whatever the heck he was at the end.
Yeah.
I'm a big Stargate fan, FG1 and also all the other stuff. Yeah. I actually, when Atlantis was still on, and one of my questions came into the pool where they would actually ask the actors about.
Really?
So one of them says, "This is a question from Vincent from the Netherlands."
Oh, that's
really cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So that was when Atlantis was still going live. You could actually send in stuff via Gate World.
That was a while ago. I mean, that was
Yeah, but it was great television. I mean, I watched it religiously.
Yeah, if you had to compare, I know this is a jump from technically.
We tend to scatterbrain episodes apparently.
I've got a fever today and stuff. I will tell you in advance that I'm going to be all over the place. But on the flip side,
same here.
If you have to compare, what do you think? The movie versus TV series? Personally, I always thought the series was better. But I don't know.
I think
what do you think?
The movie vibe was really cool because it's an isolated thing and you don't really know about it. So it's like, it starts off, we find something, and then all of a sudden, it breaks the world open, and there's more to be had, like historically and everything. Stargate goes deep into that, but then at the end they're like, oh, we're gonna do Atlantis. Oh, we're gonna do the Vikings. Oh, we're gonna do Christianity. And then like the last ones, like Star Trek Galaxy, or it wasn't the one with the ship that they were trapped on. It was like there was a spin-off that came after Atlantis. Sorry, Stargate. Saying Star Trek.
It's kind of like Star Trek, though. It has
Stargate Universe.
It did have several,
I believe, or is it? No, it's a game.
Yeah.
Come on, what's it called again? No, it was called Stargate Universe, and it is about a spaceship that they find, and they just get trapped on that, and it starts to launch itself towards a place that they don't know, and then a lot of stuff breaks out. But it was really bad acting from actors that could have done better, I believe, because later on they were way better in other series, but they were quite cliche in that one. And then it petered out with the movies. Like there were like 3 movies that came out after she won.
Stargate was all those were done Universal Studios, where I think that was
in Canada. They were all done in
production.
Canada.
Oh, they were. Oh, yeah. I didn't know that.
Because that's every time they visit, it was either a forest or like the desert. It was all done in Canada.
But I think it was Universal Pictures though that made it, isn't it?
MGM.
It was MGM. Oh man, I have that way off.
But they got bankrupt, so they had to. Once the studio got bankrupt, they stopped doing Stargate stuff. Huh. Yeah, I was totally into it at the peak, and we watched it religiously. So I want to see him. I also want to see some Stargate stuff at Prop Store, which will be going on the 2nd November.
There's some stuff there from Stargate as well. I didn't. Every day they keep releasing things that, I'm like, wow.
Same here.
So there's so many. If you request too much stuff, it's like, oh well.
But they all already on display, I believe, because if you look at their YouTube page, they already have it in shells and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
So I think we'll make the most out of it. We're also looking at stuff in the neighborhood, of course, if we can do something. So the fun thing is PropStore is located in an area of England where a lot of studios are, but it also means a lot of movies were shot nearby because they're, of course, cheap locations to shoot. So one of them is probably the Naboo forest from episode 1. It's like 30 minutes from our B&B, and the how do you call it? The guy from Shaun of the Dead.
The main. Yeah. You mean the writer
Simon Pegg,
comedian? Simon Pegg.
Yeah. So the guys the end of the world, or the movie with the aliens.
The pub.
The pub, apparently there's a whole pub crawl you can do that visits all the pubs from the movie, and they're all nearby. So we're thinking about doing that, not taking any alcoholic beverages, but visiting the pubs at least. So
we'll talk more about that when James is driving right now, and then when he'll join us. Probably not visually, but he'll. But I mean that's pretty cool. And then so the same week though, you're going to to Brussels, and then you're gonna. So is this a con, or where what is this that you're going to? Oh, it is.
It's a con. Yeah, it's a Brussels Comic Con, and the fun thing is though, I can actually see Colonel Jack O'Neill's pants, and then I can tell him afterwards that I saw his pants.
That's true. You just
have a picture of me. I've got your pants, MacGyver.
Yeah.
But
you probably also buy them for $45,000.
Oh yeah, I have plenty of money now. No, but
so what are you going to ask Leia when you see her?
Not much. I mean, it's a photo shoot, and if it's anything to go by with Palpatine, for example, you're going to be shoved through like a little row, and then it's 1, 2, 3, smile, and you go. And that's it. I'll probably be wearing my Ghostbusters costume. So
you are? Okay.
Yeah. I have cool. I don't know what I can bring for her. It's just that I saw that she was there, and I like Back to the Future. I was on. Yeah. I already have a picture with me and Christopher Lloyd. With Doc Brown.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And, crud, send me a picture of that. That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
And he was pretty happy or stoned.
Yeah. He's generally nice. If you knew him from the Taxi days.
Yeah. But he was like very timid and very slow and maybe jet lagged. I don't know. But he was like very like.
I mean, he's a pretty old guy. I was surprised. So I just barely found out more about Leia recently. Because I've always thought she's very. I gotta be careful how I say this. I'm a married guy, but at the same time, I used to have a crush on her when I was much younger.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, and I've seen things with her recently, even and stuff. You would never. I didn't think she was as old as she actually is.
Okay.
So this is her 60th birthday.
All right.
So it's like, wow. I mean, she looks great for 60 years old.
Well, she has access to a time machine because her son has one.
Maybe
right?
Some people just look naturally pretty good, but
yeah.
I one of the ways I was gonna try and reach out to her, one of the reasons I was gonna reach out to her, and because in my field I deal a lot with Parkinson's. That's something that I've been involved in for quite some time now. It's probably
There's
about
a good
quarter
movie
of the work
about
that I do.
Fox that came out recently.
Yeah, there is. Well, and so Michael J. Fox has the Michael J. Fox Foundation, which has Christopher Lloyd. Even probably a lot of people have seen that he did a documentary where he and another guy went and got all the parts. They show where they got all the parts to build the original Back to the Future DeLorean.
Okay,
and so they went and got all the original parts. It's worthwhile seeing because they actually show. Literally, there's several places they go and they're like, I'm surprised nobody comes here because it's so easy to access these parts. And there are places that are kind of just down the street, but at the same time, so he went through and they built one, and then he signed it afterwards, and they auctioned it for the foundation. But Leia, she's been involved in the foundation for a little while now, and then in case you didn't know, both of her brothers have Parkinson's.
Oh wow!
So
That's
naturally
heavy.
she's got a big part of it too, and so over time, and this year particularly, Back to the Future. Even though Michael J. Fox has made a lot of different films, that I love Doc Hollywood and stuff like that. Yeah, and he's done also Teen Wolf. Yeah, you've also got my favorite show, Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah, but especially the one with Jason Bateman. That's no, I mean, he's made a lot of different films. He's been in a lot of different TV shows and everything else. At the same time, Back to the Future has been kind of the big focus, or has contributed largely to Parkinson's Foundation and for treating Parkinson's. And I think a lot of people don't realize how severe the condition is, and the fact, I mean, I could take 10 people that I would see, put them in the same room, and they'd all look completely different. There's so many different symptoms that come with it, and it's a horrible disease, and it has not the best research behind it and treatment yet, and so right now, I mean, there's a lot of things going on Back to the Future related. And you should ask when you go to prop store. I would bet you that some of their props, because a lot of the stuff that they sell, it's actually for different foundations or for charities and things. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those Back to the Future props are actually for that cause. So kind of a big deal, but I do feel bad because I haven't watched Back to the Future this year. I feel like I should have. I feel like I should go back and watch things. I've been watching a lot of like making of, like all the things that you don't know, because Back to the Future was a mess. I mean, the making of that was such a mess. And so much drama and so many things that happened. I mean, literally, they pretty much made the movie twice. First off, and then because Michael J. Fox was also he was technically doing still not just Family Ties, but was also doing another smaller movie while also having to go at night and film for Back to the Future. And when you're that age, because he was still, for the first one, he was still within the range where the California has laws about how many hours you're allowed to work.
Yeah.
And so they had to do all these weird things to get around Michael's schedule and to get things, refilmed and to film new scenes.
Yeah.
They had things
in
that
the
were
documentary
breaking.
still that he did. They did a really cool job about. Of course, there were like lookalikes for some scenes, but you would see him getting dressed you would see a person getting dressed in the outfit for Family Ties, for example, and you see him, and then he's like, okay, you see his hand shake, and then he just takes a second to take his pills, and then basically Michael J. Fox also said that he became an expert at timing his pills to make sure that he would get the right kick whenever he was doing it, and he had them in his pocket like they were candies. So he could at the end he could pretty fine tune that he could, if he had a 10-minute scene, for example, he could take the pills just to make sure that he could make the scene and then just go behind the scenes again and dose up again.
Well, he got diagnosed during, if you have seen Doc Hollywood, that's when he found out he had Parkinson's and he started getting treated. Because it just out of nowhere became really bad, and of course,
but
he was,
they also interposed scenes of 80s videotapes of Parkinson's that showed like rickety old people, which for him was also quite confronting. Looking at him, it's like, yeah, I'm like what, in his 20s or something when it happened.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, man, I'm not an old guy. I'm on the top of the world. I can do everything, but now this is cutting me down. And a lot of denial, of course.
Yeah,
but it's a really great. It's on Apple TV. It's a really great documentary. And
it's brand new. There's actually a couple that are out there. Yeah, the Apple TV one I watched not too long ago.
That's great.
There's also a couple of other ones that he did. He had a pretty good TV series that came out not too long ago too. That
Spin
I
City
watched.
also.
I was kind of surprised. Yeah, Spin City was pretty good.
But he did another one.
He did okay on that during that time. Then they switched him out with who did they switch him with? Seems like they switched the role with a couple of different actors.
But the cool thing also about the documentary was that they showed like zoom-ins of actual footage from Spin City or whatever, where if you didn't notice, you saw his handshake, for example. And so to make it look like, okay, everybody missed this apparently, but it was already apparent. And
he always had certain movements that kind of that would allow him to, where people would notice. I mean, like even when he was a kid, he was doing like this stuff.
Yeah.
This is the thing about movement disorders. They can be really subtle when they start up, but I don't. It's just it's so bizarre. Sometimes you have the making of something can be more interesting than the actual movie sometimes. And so I've been just watching tons of these YouTube shows about all the stuff that happened. The Crispin Glover stuff is actually super interesting and kind of funny. At points in time, the fact that there's still shots that have the other actor that was originally Marty McFly that you can still see because they didn't change those. And the actors are the ones that could figure it out because like Biff I think was one of the ones I saw that identified several of the scenes where he's like, we didn't really refilm that, or I can tell because of the angle, the size that was the other guy. And stuff. So
the guy playing Biff has an actual song for his fans because he's so tired of saying "Hey butthead" that he did that there's a song about
make like a tree and leaf.
Yeah,
what does he say though? He gets it wrong. He says, "Oh, make like a tree and." How does he say it? He gets the saying wrong.
It was pretty dumb. Yeah,
that was pretty good though. Make like a tree and get out of here. Something I can't remember now. I need to go back and watch it.
And get out of here,
And get out of here.
Speaking of rewatching stuff, I mean, this is a Scatterbrain episode, guys. So people listening, people watching, we are scatterbrains at times.
It's all good.
But my son, who is 3 years old, asked me if he could watch the Ghostbusters movie with me.
Oh yeah,
which is not really 3-year-old. Kind of stuff to watch.
I don't know. I mean,
we have like this. We have like this MPAA or whatever.
I think the stuff that wouldn't match is probably would go over his head, and nothing within it was too scary. Like it comes across enough where I think it's okay for kids that age. Probably.
I don't know.
Probably not too much. Maybe some of the Gozer stuff would get scary. I don't know. But
I mean, definitely not the real Ghostbusters because that's more scary than the movie.
Yeah, there are a few that are a little creepy. Yeah,
like the boogeyman and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But So the red line of our conversation is going all the place. But yeah, Back to the Future. There was a colleague of mine actually told me this week that his mother and father both have the birthdays of those two dates. So not so much not so much the year, but the actual days of birth. They were there. So every time they see the movie, they're like, it's mom and dad.
They're like they typed in my name, my birthday.
Yeah.
But so what's your theory on the? I mean, because there is the whole multiverse thing these days. They could. And there's been some discussion about as far as because they are working on a new Back to the Future.
Are they?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Well. So, there's already a lot of this kind of gone on with that. But at the same time, multiverse-wise,
well, they are
technically
in the video game. They did it.
Oh, yeah. Well, would you say that when Michael J. Fox went back, did he go back to his own universe? This is a very Rick and Morty kind of situation.
I think they actually draw it out in the movie what happens, that they're in a tangent.
Well, he did he did the line and on the board, but I mean, like, think of the things that were different when he went back. That's not his universe. Like, technically, his universe still exists. He's over here. He's just replaced another Mike or another, Marty, right?
And Marty's probably missing in the original universe because he never goes back.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Plus you had, and then you get into 2. You got another split off. You're right, as far as the future goes, or the present, I should say. You got the Vegas version of the town and stuff. There's a lot of cut scenes from that too. I got to see recently that, I mean, kind of gives more. There's a lot of storyline that they did remove. I think it kind of makes more sense. So
I think you got Biff Tannen's casino play cards somewhere.
Oh, you really?
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah. Well,
that's pretty good.
I don't know, man. They had the cartoon, of course, that went all over the place as well. With the kids. So the brown kids were doing stuff. The Telltale Games game was pretty good. A lot of puzzles, a lot of stuff. But I believe at one point they also have like all the Martys come and ask everybody if they are assholes or something like that. But
did you ever play the Nintendo version of the Back to the Future game?
No, the Japanese one or the normal one? Because you have like,
I don't know. I think it was just the normal one.
That's the one.
Yeah, the one that basically they took 4 different popular games that were classic games. So they took Paperboy.
Yeah.
They took I'm trying to think what some of the other ones were. But I mean, literally, what they did is they just swapped out Marty. So Marty's on a skateboard versus the kid on the bike doing the newspapers. There's there was that. There was what were some of the other things? The scenes that were like a Spy Hunter, where you're driving on the street. Like, there's so many things that literally they just kind of swapped the. I don't know. I remember that game, but I actually liked that game. I had that. I think it was for Nintendo that I had that. That was a lot of fun.
There's different ones because you have like the for the NES, it's like part 1 and 3 for some reason, and then you have like the street levels, the puzzle rooms, and all that kind of stuff. But there's also a Super Back to the Future 2, which is a Japanese one, which has a chibi Marty on his hoverboard, and that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool as well. Yeah.
I'll have to check that out.
That's one of the better versions of the game. That's a real cool game.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think I did mention the fan home thing. The car is pretty cool. I have purchased all the mods for it.
Okay. I actually have the rear bumper. Like I have 1 and 2.
Yeah, you mentioned that. So you have the license. What I think is cool on there that we've already put on. Although there's a switch out part. One of the mods that you can get that I have. Fan home wouldn't let me do it on the first video because the first video they had to have me run it past them and all this other stuff. The mods though, and they wouldn't let me use third-party stuff. The mod is it makes it where the license plate is magnetic, and they have 2 metal versions of those plates that are really nice. So it has both plates, and then but what I think was really cool is that you have the registration stickers that you put onto the plate. And they're like reflective. They're fully just exactly like real registration stickers, and you put those on there. I thought that was pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that model. More
that's full metal. I mean, it's actual good quality stuff. Yeah,
the fact that I only have the bumper and one of the sides, and they're already pretty heavy.
Yeah,
I mean, this thing's this big. How heavy is that sucker going to be? It's going to be pretty bad, but. Yeah,
it's one of the fights that's heavy, right?
Heavy. You keep saying that. There's something about the future where,
everything's heavy.
Yeah, this episode. So this is my current plan. I mean, everybody. So this is us in the past talking to people in the future.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is going to come out on Wednesday because something else is happening on Wednesday, here in the U.S. And on that date, I have the making of the behind the scenes for the 2 Ghostbuster videos that we did. Cool. So I made a film for that, and that will come out on that day. So this we might skip a week, and this will probably come out either in a week or 2 weeks. This might be flip-flopped even with the other one. Because we're probably going to talk about the prop store first. So if you're like, well, what are they talking about with Back to the Future? Just barely. That was last month. Well, yeah, we recorded this earlier. And so this is our time travel version.
This is the time travel episode. Also, just for spoilers then, or in case you already know because you saw the other video, but James and myself will be meeting up in real life for the first time ever.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's
I'm going to miss out on that. We'll talk more about that. So you're right. They might have already heard all this stuff, and you're feeling like it's redundant. It's all good. But yeah, we had to touch base before these guys took off, and also, speaking of which,
it's time travel games. Back from the future.
Time travel games.
Back from the future.
If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that. But also check out our channel, join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at massivedmg_ and on his YouTube channel, massivedmg. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and the Replica Prop Forum. We also want to hear from you, so be sure to send your questions, stories, and other projects to yourgeekfix@gmail.com. In the meantime, this has been your Geek Fix.